Everyone, this is Precision Coach Brian coming with a precision markets video specifically tailored around how to make your trading plan. We've seen, as from traders in the community as well as traders overall, the hardest part is knowing exactly what to do when. And if you don't have a very cohesive trading plan, it's going to make it hard for you to be able to know exactly when to enter trades and when to exit trades, because you'll start doing things and you'll start asking yourself later, why did I do that, when you take losses. The traders that you'll find that have consistent success approach the market the same way. The market never does the same thing twice. Everything that it does is unique, meaning that you won't ever see the candles print the exact same way. But the characteristics are what are continually there in the market every time. So in constructing a great trading plan, you need to make sure that you have the right characteristics in your plan to see something that you see consistently. So let's get into how to create your trading plan. I'm using a software called Lucid App, which helps me to create what are called flowcharts. So we're going to make a trading plan using flowcharts. So there's a couple things you need to know about a flowchart that are important. First thing is that flowcharts end up usually being vertical because they usually go up and down. It's used to be able to program and say, if an event happens, you have some type of decision making. So we have this triangle that's used in flowcharts to be able to decide a decision. And then from each one, there's an outcome. So for instance, it might be yes, it might be no, or it could be some other outcome. And so you're able to define what that might be. Like, for instance, this could be 1, this could be 2, and this could be 3. And therefore, if something happens within this decision tree, you, based upon the result, decide and do whatever action is next. The next piece we have is just a process. So when you have a process specifically, it means do something, in other words. So that's what these boxes are on the chart that we're going to use. Outside of that, I don't really use many other things on the flow chart. I just use those main things. So I'm going to start with showing you what to do. So first and foremost, let's say, for instance, we're going to make a simple trading plan, all right? So I use this text for notes. So we're going to use as our higher time frame, we're going to use M15. And for our entry time frame, we're going to use M1. So that's just a couple of notes about this plan that we're going to create. So for everywhere that there's a higher time frame, just know I'm talking about M15. Everywhere that there's entry time frame, I'm using M1. Let me make it smaller because it's a little bit too big. All right, cool. So first things foremost is the first process, right? What we're going to do: analyze trend on higher time frame. All right. And so then it's going to follow into the next action. So we just draw a line. And so then here, we got to make a decision. How is the market trending? All right. So now we have a decision to make. If it's in an uptrend, I want to do this. And if it's in a downtrend, I want it to do this. Hold on a second. I got 2. There we go. Cool. So let's talk about what are the things we want to do. All right. If it's in a uptrend, find POIs from last higher low. And I'm going to copy this just to save time in essence. And I'm going to connect this into this. All right. And so then I got to make these things equilibrium because sometimes OCD. We're going to find PIs from last lower high. All right. So now I'm going to actually draw a line, and I'm going to have both of them connecting to the same point because they both are going to do the same thing, even though the lines roll like this. So let me make it actually a little bit easier. Hold on a second. I'm going to make another decision that's going to come right here, but I'm going to have this line go into this. Okay. And do it like that. And then this one, do the same thing. Try this again. There we go. All right, cool. has price tapped into H time frame POI. So now, regardless, even though both of them, they both were two different things that happened, you had an uptrend or downtrend, I still had them all arrive at the same place. But it's just important to note because you may have different actions that happen. So this is where I like to do this. Let's say if it says, I'm actually going to change this into a no. And this is where we're going to be wait. So if price hasn't tapped in, then I don't want to do anything. I just want to wait. But if price does, then I want to go to entry time frame. All right, cool. So then an entry time frame, the next thing I'm going to do is going to go and say, okay, all right, do I see a chalk? And I'm going to copy this just because it's just easier. And it's the same way. It's like this. No, then wait. If yes, then I do my last predefined process. Take my trade. All right. So what we just created is a simple trading plan. Now, when it comes to things like risk management, all those things, you can define how you're supposed to handle risk, or you can make it a note or what, etc. But I want to show you the essence of making a simple plan to think out everything. So essentially, our plan is analyze trend on the higher time frame. How's the market trading? If it's an uptrend or a downtrend, we find the last POIs from the last lower high. If price is tapped into the higher time frame POI, then we go to the entry time frame. If not, we wait. And then we wait to see the chalk, and we see it, we take a trade. All right, now we create a simplistic plan. Now the thing is we have to go test it and make sure that it works. So the goal is really test your plan over 200 times. See how many times following the plan gets you the desired result compared to not following the plan, compared to, I did this incorrect. I'm sorry, guys. You want to test it and see how many times following the plan gets you to your desired result compared to how many times it doesn't get you the result. And at that point, then you'll know exactly if the plan actually works or not. So that's what I'm going to show y'all how to do once you create your plan. So now let's go into TradingView. All right. So we're going to go back to my favorite pair. And we're going to analyze our time frames, right? All right. So let's say we analyze our market here. Let's see, right here. All right. Price makes a higher high. Price makes a higher low. So I would find my POI. And so the first thing is find the POI, which would be something like this. I'm going to use the engulfing candle. And then, so this would be a demand. The next piece is when price taps in. Price comes and taps into it, which it does. Then at that point, I go to the entry time frame, right? And so then on the entry time frame, it taps in. I'm looking for my chalk. So what I end up having here is this was the last high. Price breaks above it. This was the last low. I have my chalk. Price ends up coming right back into my zone, my flip zone, and then I take my trade. Now, I needed to probably put a little more detail on my trade, my trading plan, but it would be once I see my chalk and my flip, when it returns back to my zone, I take my trade. All right, cool. So now I'll do it for the next time. Well, here we have, for instance, another zone right here, but price never came back and tapped into it. So I never would have looked at M1. So there's no trade here. So I'll move on to the next one. All right. So price comes here. All right. Now we have a reversal in price. Price comes back to make a lower high. It breaks through here. I would come back and say, all right, this would be my zone. So this would be a supply for M15. So then the next thing in my plan says for me to come back. Let's see. It doesn't exactly tap in here. So there was no reason for me to go to M1. So I keep going on to the next one. All right. So this zone still holds. It comes all the way over here. And so then I look and say, okay, where's my chalk and flip? So here it broke something. This is the last This is the last high. It was the last low. Price comes in. Here's my flip zone. Price taps into it. I take my trade. So all I'm doing is just practicing the process of following my trades and following my trading plan and seeing that. Now, obviously, there's a couple more details that I need to add to my trading plan. I need to add the fact that I'm looking for a chalk and flip. So that's when you would come back to you would come back to it. Hopefully it didn't crash. You would come back to your plan, and then you just edit your plan. So now I've seen that, okay, it's not just seeing for a chalk. I need to actually add a condition and say, okay, before you see a chalk, after you see a chalk, it needs to do one more thing. Has it returned to my flip zone? And if it has, yes, you take the trade. If not, you wait. This is what happens if you do it over 200 times. You're going to really be able to see if your rules work or not. And not more importantly, when you take trades, you'll understand why you take losses. Most times you end up taking losses because you don't have a plan of what you're doing. And you haven't made a cohesive plan to consider all the things that you have to consider when trading. So if you don't have a plan, you just plan to fail. That's something that you ought to always keep in mind. So by making your plan as cohesive as possible, you're going to avoid a lot of errors and mistakes, but also you can literally put this plan right next to you while you trade and then be able to know, oh, I didn't do something I'm supposed to do. And it'll help you refine your trading to the point eventually where you won't need it. So here's another example. Higher high, it breaks and makes lower low. I'm expecting this to be a lower high. Price comes in, it taps into my spot. So it's tapped into my POY. So now the next part of my plan says go down to M1. Here is where I get my chalk. Price comes in, price chalks right here. So this was the last low to be broken. It created this high. Price chalks, price returns right back into my flip zone. And then boom, I take my trade. And boom, you see, it would have got me a positive result. So a lot of what you want to do in trading is going to come down to making a cohesive trading plan that taps into everything that you're looking for, as far as being able to make sure that you follow a consistent process. Because the times that the trades went well from the trades that I just showed you, you'll notice is that the trades all had something in common. They followed the same plan, but price never looked the exact same. But they got me the intended outcome of what I was looking for, a profitable trade. So this is your secret to profitability, making sure that you make a cohesive trading plan. I hope that this has been a lot of value for you. If you haven't already, please make sure to join the Precision Markets community, where we share insights like this and much, much more. We have dedicated Zoom calls, or you can be able to get questions answered, back testing sessions, and other things to help you really enhance your trading and learning. And even have comprehensive plans already developed to help you be able to start on your trading journey. So definitely join the Precision Markets community if you haven't. This has been your Precision Markets coach, Brian, and I look forward to y'all tuning in to the next video.